So you guys requested a day in a live video of what my typical day looks like as a data analyst, and that's exactly what I have for you in this video. I'm going to go into detail on what I do as a data analyst. So as a data analyst, I work most days from home, and currently we only go into office maybe 2 or 3 times a month. This has really helped me a lot with childcare because my work is quite flexible and allows me to balance the school runs with work. I usually wake up between 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. depending on what I have going on at work. As a new data analyst that's eager to make a good impression at work, sometimes I wake up early so that I can get a head start at work or catch up with some work before getting my daughter ready for school. The reason why I do this is because sometimes, because of childcare, I'm not able to work as fast as I would like, hence why I wake up a little bit earlier to get a head start, or sometimes I just want to learn something new. So today I woke up at 5:45 a.m. because I need to take my little daughter to the daycare center for the first time before taking my older daughter to school. This is very good for me because the house will be quiet and I can focus on work. Wait. So after doing the school runs, I quickly have to rush back home for our first meeting, which starts at 9:10. Starting at 9:10 is super helpful because a lot of my colleagues also have kids, so it allows us to drop the kids over to school and still make it in time for work. And for those with pets as well, they're able to take the dogs for a walk before work, which is also super helpful. So the first meeting of the day is what we call our daily stand-up meeting. This meeting is with the rest of the analyst team, and during this meeting we usually first discuss our well-being, so how we're feeling on the day, and rate it out of 10. And after discussing our well-being, we then share what we're working on that day. So today I only have one main meeting after the daily stand-up meeting, thankfully, and that allows me time to then focus on my project that I'm working on, which I'll discuss more about later in the video. The meeting starts at 12 p.m. which will last about an hour via Microsoft Teams since we all mostly work from home. This meeting is our monthly performance insights meeting where we discuss how we are doing with complaints with senior leaders. So we usually discuss things like how many complaints we received, how many we resolved, how many we have left, and where we can improve. Prior to the meeting, I make sure I write down some notes. It's very important that I go into the meeting well prepared because I'm presenting in front of senior leaders. My notes usually include my analysis and any research. For example, sometimes you might come across an article online which might explain the cause of the number of complaints that we received. After writing down my notes, I'll go over them and practice to make sure it flows very well. After preparing my notes today, I'm feeling very confident and I spent some time on my project work before the meeting. I usually have my lunch around 12, but that's when the meeting is, unfortunately, and I was feeling quite hungry, so around 11:45 I quickly had some lunch. For lunch today, I'm having a typical Ghanaian dish called wache. It's made out of rice and black-eyed beans with some stew, spaghetti, boiled eggs and some meat, and it tasted absolutely amazing. Now it's 12 o'clock, which means it's time for the performance insights meeting, and I always try to be on time in the first one at the meeting. And I think being on time is very important, especially when you're dealing with senior leaders. But for me, it's not only about when you're dealing with senior leaders, but with every meeting. I think being on time speaks a lot about you and your organizational and time management skills, and it also shows respect and discipline as well, which is very, very important to me. So during the meeting, I have to take some notes of the important points that we raise and actions we will take after the meeting, and I have to add it to my analysis and send it to the boss in good time ahead of his meeting with his boss. So overall, the meeting went very well, and I received some really good feedback after the meeting from my manager, who said this was probably the best performance meeting I've had so far, which I agreed as well because my analysis was so good and I chipped in with some really good points and I controlled the meeting as well, and it flowed very well. I'll never forget the first performance meeting that I had. I really struggled in that meeting. I was all over the place. I didn't really know what I was talking about. I barely took any notes, and that made it really difficult for me to write my analysis after the meeting. And I really started to question myself whether I was actually cut out for this. But since then, I've gone from strength to strength. I kept on practicing and preparing well ahead of the meeting each time. And now, as a result, I feel very comfortable during the meetings and when I'm writing my analysis. After that meeting, I treated myself to some tea and some digestive biscuits and got back to working on my project. So this project that I'm working on is a Power BI project where I have to rebuild all our existing dashboards in Power BI. The goal is to build dashboards that will encourage our stakeholders to use it often and to use it to make data-driven decisions for their departments. To achieve this goal, the new dashboard needs to be more robust, it needs to be simpler, it needs to be easier to use and understand, especially since the majority of our stakeholders are non-technical people. Now, this project is actually a big deal for me, and there's quite a lot riding on this project because it's probably the biggest piece of work that I've ever done in my entire career, and it's something tangible that I can say, look, I built all these dashboards for all these departments that they're currently using. And it's also a big statement at work which will communicate that indeed I'm fully capable and that they hired the right person for the job. So far, although very challenging, I have enjoyed working on this project, and it's really helped me to develop my skills and myself in the process. I've literally learned something new every single day since I started working on this project, and this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to become a data analyst in the first place. For my setup, I have a work laptop, a second monitor, and also my personal laptop. So that's 3 screens altogether. And having multiple screens is so useful, and it helps you to produce work a lot faster. The reason why I also have my personal laptop is mainly for research purposes. At my workplace, ChatGPT has currently been blocked. Our dedicated AI tool is Copilot, which I don't find very helpful when it comes to coding. I find ChatGPT far better. So if I'm struggling with a certain code, I have to research it on ChatGPT on my personal computer instead if I can't find the answer on Copilot, Google, and so on. Around 3 p.m. is back to doing the school runs again. I need to pick up my older daughter from school, then the little one from the daycare. I can pretty much leave work at any time for the school runs. I just need to make sure that I don't schedule any meetings around that time, and when I get back I try to make up that time I took to do the school runs. And there's not a lot of space in my little apartment to find somewhere quiet to work. You know, I wish I had a bigger place. I would create a room for the kids where they can just play or do whatever they want, so I can continue to work in peace. So what I do is I just take my work laptop to the bedroom and try to do some work there. It's not really ideal because, you know, it's a small space, and also the work laptop is quite small as well. And without the second monitor, it takes so much longer to do simple things, you know, but, you know, that's just what I have, and I have to work with that at the moment. So around 5:30, I log off and then spend some time with the family and then get the kids ready for bed. And that's how my day is. And tomorrow we go again. So guys, that's it. That's what my typical day looks like. If you did enjoy this video, then please do well to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm really trying to grow my subscribers. My goal is to try and reach 1,000 subscribers by at least August. So anything you can do to help with that would be very great and much appreciated. You know, I wish I could have the time to make more content, but you know, I'm in a new industry and there's still a lot of things to learn. So on my spare time, you know, I'm learning and catching up with things, and that takes a lot of my day. So I don't get the time to, you know, make as many videos as I can. But I have got some really great ideas, and you know, your support, you know, would be really appreciated. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for all your support, and I'll catch you in the next one.